don't forget to assign IP address. But since also in this format I forgot to assign IP address, but we can also assign IP address since we haven't yet installed the DHCP. So this is a class C IP address. We have to cancel this one. So we have class C IP address. So you can use 100. To know what classification, you just have to look at the subnet mask. So we have to go back. This is promo.exe. You can open also same IP config. If the assigned IP address for the server only is available, IP config on the same. So we have to next this one again, the same process. This one you have to put support. Press that. I'll do that. So it will verify. And the version of our OS. We have to select art. And next. And we have only 2. Do you want to continue? So you have 2. Yes. No, we don't need configuration in this portion. Just next and set up the password that you want to set up. When it comes now, you have to log in again for your server. So reboot on completion. This version, it takes roughly around 3 to 5 minutes. So that's down to it's been very long enough. This portion we have to log in our server. So this one indicates that you have been successfully installed your DNS or the domain that you have created last time, which is the testdata.edu.com, and you have to log in again. So this portion, while it's loading, you can create now a folder for folder redirection portion. Create a folder. You have to properties, share. You can indicate the everyone, or you can indicate domain users. So this one won't show up if in the first place you have already created this one without installing the DNS. It won't show up if you don't install in the first place the DNS. Okay, you have to check permission for control everyone, and we have to add the domain users. So in later portion, we have to create a account under the domain. Again, copy again the sharing. And back, you have to copy this one. And then right next is we need to open our server manager and go to the add roles. We have to add our DHCP, the one that will arrange or limit of how many users can go inside the domain, and also the print and document services. Next, and indicate your IP address. The IP, if you forget your IP address, this one is the IP address. So we have indicate 100. It should show up as a valid in this portion. And okay, now valid. Next is you don't have to configure this one, not this. And in this portion, the DHCP scope you have to add, and then for example test the scope. And in this portion you have to indicate the three numbers on your IP address. So if you forget, you can open CMD and IP config. Then you can select this this third batch. Yes. Then 192.168 is 100. Need to copy that one. 192.168, 100 that. And in the last portion, you can modify that one because that will indicate whose user is that. So you can also, like, for example, this one, and then not 80 because it is ending. So this short you can only allow. If 80, then you can only allow one user. And the default gateway, please indicate also default. Okay, so that one. You can close that one. Then next, disable the DHCP version 6 because we are using IP version 4. Next, and fix. While this one is loading, you can go back. You can search again, server manager. Server manager, and plus the rows, active directory and services, active users and services. Then you can expand again your tesla.edu.com domain and right click on this domain and then new organizational unit. For example, you have to indicate your organizational unit as tesla OU. And okay, and in this test.ou you can create, right click on the test.ou folder, you can create now a user. Okay, new user, because if you create your account at the outside, the tendency is it will not be as much as organized. You can the login user, a user logon name will later part use as your logon name to the client devices. Again, next, and then indicate your password. I'll just use the server admin one so that I won't forget this one. And check the user change, and only the check is the user cannot change and password never expire. And done. So we're done with creating the account. And next is we go to the features, this one. And group policy management, forest plus domain, and test the domain. Now in this portion you can see that there's also your OU. Now the reason is that once you created a OU at your roles, it will directly show up at the features. So that is why we need to organize when we are about to create a account. GPO folder redirection, and then we also have to create GPO printer deployment. And then now this portion we are now about to create or edit our GPO folder redirection. We have to right click, edit, user configuration, policies, Windows setting, folder redirection, double click on it, and then right click on the desktop and properties. Settings must be basic, and then paste the network path that you have been created last time, and check for the older version, and then apply OK. Next is we need to search add a printer. Add a printer and local. Just if you have a printer, then you can select what printer you are about to use. You can also create as printer indicator, and then next and finish. So you're done with creating the printer, and go to print management, this one, all printers, and deploy the printer. Right click on the printer and then deploy, and browse and find where's your GPO been created. So my GPO is created at the OU, so we have to double click and it will show up the printer, and OK, and check two boxes and add and apply OK and OK. So we're done with the server setup. Basically all you need to do is just verify first before you go to the next one. Now in this portion, this is our client. So we have to do is we are call this one, we don't need to assign IP address at the client. We don't need to assign IP address at the client. Again, we don't need this one. No? We don't need. So we have to close the one. Now in this portion, all you have to do is Windows R and type dncpa.cpl, and this one we have to disable. After the enabling this one, the Ethernet network, it should show up a prompt here that you have to what you call this one, you have to accept the domain that is been created at the server. It should show up. So as you can see, it show up the testa.edu.com, means that does this PC allowing to recognize or discovering the other that has a domain, which is the server. We have to yes. Now next step is we need to Windows E and go to your this PC. Next is in this blank space you have to right click, properties, change setting, and then change and indicate the domain, which is the testa.edu.com. Enter, and it will show up a password and username. Administrator is the name of our server, and its a password indicates that you have to log on to the system of the server. Then we are about to being welcomed by the domain. And okay, and close and restart. Now it will boot after the joining of the domain. So next step is we need to log on our account. Then log on the other user and indicate the logon name that been created, which is the user or the account that is created at the OU, and enter. Once this one is being logged on, you have to go back to your server and go to the folder that you have been created last time and open the folder. Now this will show up the account that is being created last time or that is being logged on at the other PC or the client. Log on, and this one is the GPO folder redirection. Double click on it, continue, security tab, continue, and replace the administrator coming from the domain. So you have to replace and apply yes and okay. Okay again, okay, close. Now as you can see, our GPO desktop is still locked. You have to do is right click, properties, security, edit, add sample domain users, or for those account that is being created at the domain. But if you want that everyone can access this one, whether in domain or not in domain, then everyone, then apply and okay. So as you can see, the lock icon is being vanish. So next step is you have to open. Once you created something in this one, it should show up directly to the desktop of the client. This one. So it is now show. This one show. Now regarding with the printer, you have to search printer, printers and scanner, something. This one, printers and scanner, log on, and then now this is the printer, and you are done with GPO printer, GPO folder.